How we doing, everybody? Mike here, and yes, it is Movember, so that's why you're seeing a little bits of chocolate on my upper lip there. 4 days in, and just doing all I can to help raise awareness, men's health, prostate testicular cancer, and you can go to my page if you'd like to vote, mobro.co/Mike Solarte. That's all put together there, and so if you'd like to, great. The link is actually on the blog page as well. So anyway, that's explaining that. First and foremost, Carolina Panthers snapped their losing streak. They get the victory over Washington on Sunday, winning by 8 points. A game, honestly, that looked a lot like the other games that the Panthers have played recently. Defense playing pretty well. Bend, don't break. They get 4 sacks in the ball game. Panther offense does a nice job. Cam Newton throws it less than 27 times, and they win. These are just bullet points of a script that we've seen this team go through this season. But the fact that they finally sealed a win is big for that room. You can just tell the last couple of weeks they've been close. They've been frustrating losses, and I know the fan base is all up in arms. At least they were, and I'm sure that there's still probably a certain degree that says, they should have beaten Washington anyway. Yeah, but they also could have beaten Chicago. They also could have beaten Dallas. They also could have beaten Atlanta. They also could have beaten, the list goes on and on. Tampa in the opening week. This Panther team is not a bad team. They're just not finishing games. At least they weren't. Will they run the table? Doubtful, because it's very difficult to string together that many wins in a row in the NFL. But Atlanta's done it. They won 8-0. They're 8-0 at this point. So anything is possible. Carolina, I think right now would be wise to be focusing on getting to 6-6 before they start thinking of any other visions of grandeur. And a very tough task this week with the Denver Broncos coming into Charlotte. And this is a game I'm sure that has been circled on the calendar by head coach John Fox in Denver since the schedule came out. So remains to be seen how we'll see on Sunday how Carolina fares against a Denver team that obviously has changed their look with their quarterback situation. Peyton Manning is the new guy in town, the new sheriff in town, and as Coach Fox would say, it's not his first barbecue. He's been around, and he knows. He knows the game. He knows the position. He's one of the all-time greats, no question. So the Panthers have got their work cut out for them this weekend. Shifting gears, NASCAR. Jimmy Johnson on a mission. You got to give the 48 team full marks for everything they've done the last 2 weeks. Win the pole, win the race in Martinsville. Win the pole, win the race in Texas. This is a team that right now is hungry. They want that 6th ring. They want that 6th title, and it looks like they're going to get it. They're 7 points ahead of Brad Keselowski now. They picked up 5 points, stretched the lead out from 2 to 7 between this past weekend in Texas. And it really, with 2 races left, they go to Phoenix and then Homestead. It's going to be very difficult, I think, for Brad Keselowski to make up those 7 points. It doesn't seem like much, but it's going to take a big problem for the 48 team, and then a great day for Keselowski to make up the deficit and pull away. I would expect those two to be 1 and 2 when it's all said and done. I think the gap back to 3rd place is just too far to make them a contender, and really it's down to the 2 and the 48. Full marks to Brad Keselowski for what he's had the season he's had. It's just amazing to see the 48 team pull together the way they have over the last couple of weeks, especially in the chase, and get to be in this position. So I'm not counting Brad out. I'm just saying it's going to be tough. And but if there's a tough guy in this chase right now, it certainly is Keselowski. He and Johnson are the best 2 going, and the results bear that out. So Phoenix this week, Homestead the following week, and then they get a little bit of a break, and then go off to Vegas and party and all that good stuff. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Charlotte Bobcats snapped that losing streak, that 23-game losing streak dating back to last season, beating Indiana in the home opener. Then they kind of got run over by Dallas, which is Dallas is going to be, I think, a pretty decent team. Not great, but they very well should be a playoff team in the West. But this is a Bobcats bunch that I think I'm not sitting here going to tell you they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that. If they make the playoffs, Mike Dunlap is the coach of the year in the NBA, even if they're an 8 seed. Period. But I think right now, if you look at Mike Dunlap and what he's done with this roster and gotten these guys to believe this is a team that's very committed. You heard Rick Bonnell on the Ford Sports Net last week talking about how well Byron Mullins has committed to the defensive side of the ball. Really saw that against Indiana as I went back and kind of looked at some game tape, and these guys know that the expectations are low, and they're using that. I don't think they're using that as an excuse. I think they're using that as a motivator. They came back after being down against Dallas. Dallas, of course, pulled away, and I think you might have to attribute some of that to the Pacers hangover that the Bobcats might have had in the opener on Friday night, because there was a lot of energy and effort put into that opener, and there's a chance they kind of ran out of gas. So a couple of days off. They get Phoenix on Wednesday, a home game for them, and of course we'll bring you the highlights. ACC football. I want to just gloss over this quickly. Duke, they still got a chance to win the division. And I will say that that right there is impressive. I'm not sure they're going to be able to beat Miami to do that, because that's the team that really is in their way. The game against Clemson, you knew that was coming. I mean, Clemson, no offense to Duke, and no offense to you Blue Devil fans, but Clemson's a top tier program. I mean, they're good. They're good this year. So you kind of knew that Duke was going to be up against it, and like they were against Florida State. And there's no shame in losing to Clemson and Florida State. There really, really isn't. But I think that you look at Duke right now and what they've done, it's nothing short of remarkable. And they still probably have maybe a win or two left on the schedule. But is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. Duke going bowling, I think, is a really big story, and that'll be something that we keep our eyes on as to where they end up in the postseason. But Blue Devil fans, you better get out your suitcases, because the team's going to need you on the road. I think that's going to be a fun trip for Blue Devil Nation. NC State, ooh, no, not Virginia, not like that. Oof, that was ugly. And Wolfpack Nation, very unhappy with Tom O'Brien. This team dropping the game to Carolina 2 weeks ago was bad enough, but they basically got beat by Carolina twice. Virginia's a team that NC State should have beaten, period. I don't care how you slice it, they should have beaten them, and they didn't. And in fact, they didn't beat them. Not only did they not beat them, not only did they lose the game, but they got housed. You don't lose 33-6 to Virginia. You just don't do that, especially this year. So NC State's gonna, and a lot of NC State fans calling for Tom O'Brien's job after that. I mean, and really, I'm not advocating firing the guy, but it's really, you can't tell those guys to be quiet in this case. You really can't. That's a bad loss. Losing to Carolina, I think you can accept, because the way it happened. You started off in a hole, you fought back, you came back. It was a close game in the fourth quarter, and a rivalry game being basically decided on a big play at the end. That's how those things go. It doesn't matter if you're NC State and Carolina. It doesn't matter if you're Mississippi and Bama or whoever. I mean, Florida, Georgia. I mean, you see the games like that, and you see these things happen. It just happens like that sometimes in rivalries. So I think NC State fans, while disappointed in the loss to Carolina, we're okay with it. As okay as you can be. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say here? But the Virginia loss was pretty bad. So that's something to bear in mind as the days towards the end of the regular season tick down to see if the Wolfpack decided they want to make a change. Because it's hard to tell that faction to keep quiet after that loss. It really is. I'm not advocating it. I don't think you fire O'Brien, but I think Debbie Yao may have a chat with him, or may have already had a chat with him. That's just me guessing here. Carolina, they keep doing. They had the week off, and Larry Fedora keeps priming the pump for next season when his team can be bowl eligible. They can't win the league title this year. They can't go to a postseason game, and he's still got that fan base, pretty energized, and that's good. They're having a decent year, and this is for him, I think, a pretty good springboard into next year, where he will have a team that can, make a postseason run. You'll start seeing we'll see how the scholarships and stuff affect him. But overall, I think right now that Tar Heel fans have to be pretty pleased with what they've seen on the football field. I mean, there's no question. There's a certain buzz around that program. Okay, so to sum up, Your point and shoot videos, always welcome. Email them to sports@news14.com. Movember, check the link at the bottom of the blog. Love to have you go there. Click it, donate if you can, because we're trying to raise awareness for men's health. Prostate testicular cancer most at the forefront, and I'm glad this light is really bright because it doesn't look as big. Oh, when I do that, you can actually see it. I've never done this before. I've never grown a beard or a mustache before. So just trying it out this year and see where it goes. But anyway, no, and by the way, notice I didn't talk about the NHL lockout. It's too bad those guys are missing out on the prime time for their season where fans could actually get excited about their game. And instead they're squabbling over money. Ha! See you guys later.